Zamboni. Yeah, that's so funny. That's great. Oh, that's nice. Great. Yes, hooray.
Hooray for the restart of the computer.
Shalom. Thanks for your patience.
May I have my prayer book?
You may. Here we are.
I'm
We
telling
already
you.
sang Today My Toes, so
We're
I
in
think we're gonna.
disarray.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all right.
Everyone's on vacation a little early. Okay. That's okay. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We
Shabbat
made
shalom.
it. And Shabbat Shalom at home. It's great to have everyone here, both in person and online. It's really great to have this energy and participation, in our community as we are coming down to Hanukkah. So it's a really exciting time. A lot of great events coming up, and a lot of great times, I'm sure, with family and friends, with lots of latkes, which we are not singing tonight. We will sing
Right.
that next week.
We will sing that next week.
Next week, I think.
Yes.
Okay. So with all of that said, we have Hine Matov already.
Yes, we did. We did. Actually, one of the events that you're talking about is Noah Aronson is here on Sunday. So we sang a Noah Aronson, Hine Matov. Sorry to miss that if you missed it up there. But there'll be more Noah Aronson to come in tonight's service.
A wonderful thing. Let's turn then to page 652. We're at the back of the prayer book for a little Ani Ve'ata.
It's a good one. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה נתנסה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
Let's turn back now to page 120 and 121, Kabbalat Panim. We welcome Shabbat with candles and Kiddush. We invite up to come forward Denise Kirschbaum and Ellen Petracco for candles and Kiddush. Let's rise together. Is the mic on?
I don't know. Are you sure? Sorry. Yes, it is. That's what I was thinking. When 120. Oh, 2. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Erev Vayhivoker Yom HaShishi. The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher letziyat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta v'otanu kidashta mikohamim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Let's take our seats as we turn to page 138 and 139 for the singing of Lecha Dodi. We'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. On the final verse, we'll rise together, face the door to greet the Sabbath bride.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat nikabala. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmiyanu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat nikabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala. Hidorari, hiva orech kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala. Lecha dodi, likrat gala, pnei Shabbat negabala. We're going to stand, face the door. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tzola, toch emonai am segula, boi Lecha lecha dodi, ligrat gala, panei Shabbat negabala. Lecha lecha dodi, ligrat gala, panei Shabbat negabala.
We're on page 145. Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without the presence. On the next page, the Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
Please be seated. On page 149 at the top of the page, let's read together. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars.
Creator of the tide and of time and light.
You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. On the next page, in the middle of the page. Sorry, page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol together.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
Than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Let's rise together on the next page.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto לעולם ועד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד.
Please be seated. We turn now to page 154 as we chant together the Via Hafta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתן לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We're on page 157 at the top of the page. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. Together, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. On the next page, Mi Chamocha.
Yai lai lai, yai la 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 lai, yai lai lai la lai, ya la la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, ya la lai la lai la lai lai. Mi chamocha ba elim Adonai, mi chamocha ne'etar b'kodesh, norat tehilot osef eleh, norat tehilot osef eleh. Malachutecha ra'u banecha, bokei alam livnei Moshe Miriam, Zeh Eli anu ve'amaru, Zeh Eli anu ve'amaru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, ya la la lai lai, ya lai la lai lai, yai lai la la lai, ya la lai la lai, ya lai lai. Boy, sometimes my tongue just gets tied and
A little Hebrew tongue twister. It happens, believe me. Okay, on page 160 and 161, speaking of our friend Mr. Noah Aronson, this is his version of the Hashki Vena. We've sung it before, certainly the past couple of years. So I think we're all familiar with it. The English is on 161, those first two lines, let there be love, and then it transitions to the Hebrew on 160.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkivenu Leshalom.
We're on page 162 as we continue with a song for Shabbat, Vishamru.
Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'atzot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. I have to cough. I'm sorry. Thank you. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let's now turn to page 165. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. Let's rise together for the Amidah HaTefillah, beginning on page 164 and continuing through page 170.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei v'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen, Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah, Rav le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. מחכה חיים וחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיע ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. We're on page 175. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarcha be'ira na'avod. On page 177, let's read together at the top of the page. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'tov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. On page 178, a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon, לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון, לכל השלום. שלום רב וישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב וישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב וישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב וישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Let's turn to page 371 as our thoughts turn to our loved ones, members of our community who are in need of healing. Whether they are in need of physical, spiritual, or emotional healing, we take them into our hearts at this time of prayer. In the middle of the page, Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Makor HaBracha Le'imoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We are thinking of this time and wishing a refuah shlema to Pat Adamson, Aiden John Ashley, Raymond Douglas Alcorn, Marty Bilo, Evan Bin, Frankie Clement, Ann Cole, Richard Corwin, Mark, Mickey, Benjamin, and Brian Edelstein, Danielle Heyman Feist, Eric Fisk and Z Fisk, Philip Gelman, Bob Gold and Carolyn Gold, Jennifer Gousset, Marvin Hollander, Stuart J., Robert Jaffe, Lori Cattleman, Doris Kirshner, Wendy Sugarman Krosnoff, Dr. Sonia Linke, Michael Lynch, Dolores Munsick, Ruth Poehler, Lee Siegel and Stacy Siegel, Dr. Cindy Steinman, Pete Tanner, Fred Truax, and Norman Gross. Is there anyone else who would like to mention the name of someone they're thinking of this time of healing? Please raise your hand as my eyes meet yours. You can speak their names.
Michael Sanchez.
And we add these names to the ones mentioned at home as we join together.
Mishaberach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We continue silently to Filat Halev, the prayer of the heart.
Liratzon imrefi vehegion libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri v'goali Adonai tzuri
Tonight is a special Shabbat. It's our Simcha Shabbat. And though we are few in number, maybe we are mighty in blessings. So let's see. Any December birthdays here with us today? I had a guess.
Yeah, come on.
Come on up.
Oh, it's a crowd.
Yeah. It's like a rave in here. Okay. Come on forward, right up here, right up here.
I thought you had a birthday every month.
God of our days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather today in special thankfulness to share in the happiness of our friends celebrating a birthday this month. Be with them always as the joy of their life. May they be blessed with health and happiness and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May we have the joy of coming together for many, many more years, united by mutual reverence and love. Then will our lives be filled with an abundance of blessing. Together we say, Amen.
Amen. Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach, Yom Huledet Sameach.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
He's going to magically disappear eventually.
They're going to be collector's items then.
Yeah. Happy
Yay,
birthday.
very nice.
We can head on down. And I gotta say, looking out into the congregation, I think our anniversary blessing rests on the Leones. Is your anniversary in December? No. Okay, so there we go. We had placed all our eggs in that basket for the anniversaries. But for those who are at home, maybe celebrating anniversary, happy anniversary, Mazel Tov, many more to come. Okay. Let's turn now to page 363. Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of the Torah. Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai, your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai, your God. Let's see, Renee and Linda, how about we open up the ark? Let's all rise together. If you're going to do this, now's when you start.
Okay. Kimitzion.
If we're not doing that, then give me Kimitzion.
Oh, Ein Kamocha. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
No, let's go to
Yes,
Kimitzion.
Ein
Go to
Kamocha.
Kimitzion.
Kimitzion. We're going to go right to. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael v'kirusha. Tov, sorry. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadolu Adonai iti, Urumama Shemo, Yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'haftiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני המלאכה, והמתנשא לכל ראש. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם עומד.
Okay, we can take our seats. When the Torah is down, we're down. When the Torah is in motion, it has nothing to do with the ark. People think it's about the ark being open. It's actually about the Torah. When the Torah is in motion, we stand. When the Torah is at rest, we can rest. So let's take our seats, relax. Little Torah today.
Want me up or down?
Are you reading?
Please.
Okay, me? Okay. Okay. Maybe Kylie, you want to do your bat mitzvah now? No? That's okay. You know, we can fake it till we make it. That'd be good. Okay. No, Beth, I do need you up. Sorry. Yeah, no.
That's okay.
Yeah, I was too busy goofing around to actually answer your question. Okay. We're going to invite Helene Dvowski to come forward for the Aliyah. As she comes forward, we'll just mention our Torah portion today, Parshat Vayeshev. We're getting towards the end of the book of Genesis, and so we are in the Joseph narrative, sort of the beginnings of the Joseph narrative. So I'm going to do a little reading, a little translating, point out maybe a couple interesting, hopefully interesting ideas about the portion.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach.
Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamavarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'nata lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Vayeshev Yaakov be'eretz migurei aviv be'eretz Canaan. And so Jacob was living in the land of his ancestors, the land of his fathers, and the land of Canaan. That's right, Canaan, which will soon become Israel. Not so soon, to be fair, I guess. We've got a little time to go. Ele toldot Yaakov, and these are the generations of Jacob. We have our friend Yosef ben Sheva Esrei Shana. So Joseph is now good age, 17 years old. Haya ro'eh et echav batzon, and he's out there helping his brothers with the sheep. You know, he's a shepherd, helping to herd the sheep with his brothers. Vehu na'ar et bnei Bilha ve'et bnei Zilpa neshei aviv, and he's sort of helping out with the sons of Bilha and the sons of Zilpah, who are charitably here referred to as the wives of his father. Vayave Yosef et dibatam ra'a el avihem, but Jacob would bring bad reports to his father, to their father. So what's the problem here? Jacob's got a little Joseph's got a little mouth on him, and so when his brothers are doing the wrong things, he sort of is a tattletale. I saw Reuben do this. I saw Shimon do that. He's got a lot of brothers to complain about. So, he does that and he complains to his father, sort of tells on them, which is not really a very endearing trait. Joseph has a little bit of lashon hara in him, that sort of slander, sort of gossipy energy to him. And surprisingly, his brothers don't love it so much, which we're going to get up to in a moment or two. But even though he brings these bad reports, V'Yisrael ahav et Yosef mikol banav. But Israel, also known as Jacob, we go back and forth in the names here, but Jacob is, of course, Israel. And Israel loves Joseph more than any more of his sons. Ki ven zikunim hulo, because he is the child of his old age. Ve'asalo ketonet pasim. And so he gives him what does Joseph get? A coat. What kind of coat?
Many colors.
Many colors. The coat of many colors, an ornamented tunic, or so help me, an amazing Technicolor dream coat. Thank you, Andrew Lloyd Webber, for that one. Oi. Favoritism isn't so great. When it comes to parenting, if the parents have more than one child, I think it's never really a great idea to favor one more than the other. And Joseph here gets special presents. He gets gifts. And if his brothers were mad about all the gossip and lashon hara, they're not so thrilled with this act of favoritism either, as we're going to read actually in this next verse. Vayir'u echav ki oto ahav avihem mikol echav. And they saw, the brothers have a visual cue, right? They saw that their father loved Joseph more than the rest of them, and vayisnu oto, and they hated him. Velo yachlu dabru l'shalom. They hated him so much that they couldn't speak a word of peace to him. They couldn't get along peaceably with their brother. It's a very startling statement. We know obviously in the Torah we have a lot of fraternal issues, a lot of issues between brothers, between siblings, but this idea of hate, that word is very strong. Like they hated him, and they couldn't even speak to him. What a problem that is in society when we have so much anger, so much hate, that we can't even speak, we can't even converse, with people. That's a very dangerous thing. As again, we're going to see throughout the Joseph narrative, that we have this lashon hara, this gossip, this slanderous kind of behavior, and the relationship is broken. And one would have liked to think that cooler heads could have prevailed. Maybe the father, could have helped out a little bit. But what does he do? He doesn't help. He exacerbates the situation by showing favoritism. And so now they're at a point where the relationship is really frayed, really broken. And right now, there's precious little that can be done, because they can't even speak to each other. And I think that's, again, a hardship, when, like I was joking about this last week a little bit, about the idea that it's the holiday season, and isn't that great? We have great food, great shopping, great traditions, and of course, like the family reunions, seeing family you haven't seen in a long time. And then during these holidays, we think, oh, there was a reason I haven't seen them for a long time. That's right. But you're together, and it's not always a great feeling, because you want family to be together. You want family to, have that love, that connection. But this text reminds us it's not always easy. And sometimes personalities get in the way. Sometimes, someone's actions get in the way. And it can be hard to find that common ground, that common space of having a loving familial relationship. And not even, I'm saying only with family, but I'm speaking more broadly, friends, loved ones, people in our community, how difficult it is, and we feel we can't even say shalom to them, when we can't even speak that word of peace to have that relationship. And so, of course, Joseph is going to make this any better at this point, because now we get to the dreams, right? The dreams, very good. Vayachalom Yosef chalom. And Joseph dreamed a dream. Vayaged le'echav. And so he told his brothers, Vayosifu od seno oto. And of course, after he told them the dream, they hated him even more. And what did he tell them? Well, let's find out. Vayomer alehem Shemuna, listen to me. Listen to Hachalom Hazeh Asher Chalamti. Listen to this dream that I have dreamed. I'm going to spare you my Les Mis imitation over here of, how he dreamed a dream. But just know that it's in my head whenever I read this. Vehine anachnu me'almim alumim betoch hasadeh. And so behold, we were together binding sheaves in the middle of the field. Vehine kama alumati gam nitzava. So my sheaf, it stood up, it rose, and it was firmly established, planted above all of yours. Vehine tisubena alumotechem v'tishtachavena. Sorry, I was right. V'tishtachavena le'ulumati. And all of your sheaves sort of gathered around my sheaf, and they bowed to my sheaf. Vayomru lo oto, and they said to him, Hamloch timloch aleinu? What, are you going to rule over us? Im mashol timshol banu? Are you going to be like our sovereign? Is that the plan here? Vayosifu od senoto, and they hated him even more. Al chalamotav, al devarav, because of hhis dreams and his words. It's not enough that he has these annoying dreams, but he's got to share it with everybody too, so that doesn't help. Hey guys, you know what I think? It's irksome. He's that little brother sort of getting underneath the skin of the older brothers. And so they were even more. Joseph can't read a room. Like this improves later in his life. Like right now, he can't read a room. Like you would think that he'd be able to figure this out, that it's not really going well for him. But maybe that favored status might have helped him, that he felt, well, he was, his father's favorite. But he had to understand he was getting on their nerves. Vayachalom od chalom acher, and he had another dream. He dreamt another dream. Vayesaper oto le'echav, and he told it to his brothers. Vayomer hine chalamti chalom, behold, I have dreamed another dream. Chalom od, another dream. Vehine hashemesh v'hayareach. V'achadasar kochavim mishtachavim li. So behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing before me. These are not subtle dreams as well. You don't need Dr. Freud to figure this one out, or other dream interpreters. Like it's pretty on the nose. Vayisaper el aviv ve'el echav, and so he told dear old daddy, and he told his brothers. Vayigarbo aviv, and his father, he rebukes him. His father is very upset. Vayomer lo, and he said to him, Ma hachalom hazeh asher chalamta? What is this dream that you have dreamed? Havo navo ani ve'imecha ve'achecha lehishtachavot lecha. And so, am I and your mother and your brothers all going to bow before you? Lecha arza, bow low to the ground. By the way, it's interesting to note that we have this idea of the sun and the moon representing Jacob and Rachel, right? Because it's and then the 11 stars are the siblings. But what's the problem with this? Rachel's no longer among the living. And so this dream, has that sort of editorial problem with it, that Rachel can't be bowing at this point because she died last week in our Torah portion. Vayiknu vo echav, and the brothers were even more jealous of him. Ve'aviv shamar et hadavar, and the father, he kept it in mind. He might have wanted to have been a little more proactive, but it says he keeps it in mind. It really is very interesting because, as we're going to see obviously later on in this portion, like we know the story, right? We know what happens to Joseph, right? This is coming up in about another few verses, right? What?
They put a for sale sign.
They put a for sale sign on him, right? Like, he gets thrown into a pit, right, and gets sold by his brothers into slavery, and that's why he winds up, that's how he winds up getting to Egypt. I guess when I read this, I think about relationships, and I think about Jacob. And Jacob didn't have the easiest time. Like we read his narrative, right? He struggles, quite literally, he struggles, throughout, sort of his life. And you just sort of think, one word, a sentence, a conversation, maybe it could have diffused this whole thing. Let's sit down the participants here, let's sit down the brothers, and maybe have a conversation. Let's Let's have a sharing of feelings. I'm a little touchy-feely tonight, maybe. Have a sharing of feelings, have a conversation, do something that's a little more active. But he's very passive. He actively gives him the coat, and the rest of it, I'm going to keep it in mind. Well, what does that do? Not so much, it turns out, right? He's like, let me just think about that a little more. But one had to have assumed, I would say, that Jacob has some understanding of what's happening here, that it's not great. And I think that, to me, that teaches an important lesson, that sometimes we let these things sit, and we let them fester, and we let ourselves become agitated, and someone else is maybe agitated, and the relationship frays. But what would happen if we just had that moment of confrontation? And I'm not saying confrontation in a negative way, but just the coming together of people who might disagree and say, okay, I'm feeling this. Oh, well, I'm feeling that. And maybe somehow a conversation develops and it becomes, the situation is diffused, as opposed to this situation. Now, I don't recommend throwing anyone into a pit and selling them into slavery if you don't like them. Like, let's not, do that. That's to the extreme. But it's not, in a way, when we think about the ability that I think we have more now than ever, to be honest, about cutting people out and cutting people off and saying, you are no longer part of my tribe, no longer part of my community. It is as if we have banished them to Mitzrayim. We have banished them to Egypt. And maybe that's not the way. I'd like to think this portion sort of says, well, maybe let's not do that. Let's find a way to enter into conversation, enter into relationship, even when it's tough, especially when it's tough. Because that's when I think things can be fixed, things can be repaired. Keep it in mind, doesn't help. Having the conversation, being active about it, and really confronting the problem head on, I think that's what leads to a better place. That's what leads to reconciliation, which, spoiler alert, a couple more parshas down the road is what we have. Like, eventually we do get to the point where the brothers are together and they air it out, and they air out all things that have bothered them, and they create relationship once again by the end of the Torah portion. It takes a little while to get there, but I think it's a good lesson, that we have to, when we have these things festering, simmering, when we're upset, and we can just sort of say, well, I'm not going to deal with it, then it doesn't get fixed. And so in this case, I think it's a really important message. If we have those moments, especially around the holiday seasons, it's a good time to, find our friends, family, maybe who are a little disconnected with, maybe try to repair and create new relationship.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nata lanu Torah temet, v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you. We're going to rise together for the lifting and dressing of the scroll. Yeah, bye-bye. Heather, you want to help out with the dressing of the Torah? I'm not going to do a full hug.
No, just be tough.
But do we have the belt? Chagura?
Yes.
Okay. Let's give that to Heather.
Samashe, b'nei Yisrael, al pi Adonai, b'yad Moshe. I always feel that this is a time for a song. We should. After the, yeah. sorry. It is 374. Yes. Eitz chaim hi lemachazikim ba v'torecha meush darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Page 586, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Let's take our seats. We're on page 597. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We're in the Shloshim period for the memory of Eric Adler, husband of Gloria Adler, father of Josh, partner Connor, and grandfather of Stella, Maggie, and Cooper. We also mention those who have passed on during this last year. Phyllis Krause, Phyllis Allman, Sheila Buckwalter, Bob Mansfeld, Albert Gart, Barry Dabowski, Ann Blumenkrantz, Shirley Matler, Richard Clausen, Mary John Resch, Liesel Schick, Linda Laban Slavinsky, Jay Roth, Fran Brickman, John Conway, Michael Vereb, Janice Lederer, Bernice Lipman, and Ezra Bobo. And we're in Shloshim, we're in Shiva for Ezra Bobo, loved one of the Ramey and Bobo family. And we're observing the yurtzeit this week of Richard Abrams, Albert Ben Mayer, Samuel Bennett, Ezra Bobo, Selma Capiluto, Ruth College, David S. Crystal, Shirley Dabowski, Bernard R. Feldman, Charles A. Freudenberg, Ada Gantz, Johanna Gassenheimer, Simon Goodman, Harry Hanfling, Reva Katzman, Sandra Kay, Jack Claytel, Miss Sonia Kornbilt, Richard Joel Lapidus, Anna Last, Leslie Mason Lawrence, Samuel Levine, Caroline Mansfeld, Goldie Poland, Nancy Rose, Louise H. Rosefield, Seymour Rosen, Donald Schwarsky, Mary Shaheen, Nathan M. Silverman, Bertram J. Thorpe, Shirley Toby, Shirley Wiener, Herbert Weinstein, Janet White, Rita Weinstock, and Toby Zwerin. Is there anyone else observing a yurt site saying Kaddish for any reason? Let's rise together. Yit Gadal, v'yit Gadash, Shemei Rabbah, be'alma devra cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, be'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, bagala v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam v'lalmei almaya, yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh, v'yit adar v'yit alev v'yit halal Shmei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi Shalom Rabba min Shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to Israel, and all of the world. As together we say amen. Please be seated. It's now my pleasure to invite one of our co-presidents to come forward, Sandy Sunter, with a cornucopia of announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody here and everybody at home. Shabbat Shalom. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's had a good week. We have a fun week ahead of us. Wanted to first of all say thank you, Rabbi, for your service tonight and with the Torah reading. I really enjoy when we have that. And thank you, Beth, for leading us in music. And thank you, Marie, for having our music tonight. And thank you, Heather, for streaming us tonight. Well, there is a cornucopia of stuff going on. I guess first I'm just going to remind everybody that we still have Rabbi's class on Tuesdays. His introduction to Judaism is at 6 o'clock and followed by his Bible study at 7:30, both in person and by Zoom. So if anybody is interested or just wants to hear what's going on, I really invite you to come and join the class online. Big thing is tomorrow night is our Night of the Mentalist. It is our big fundraiser. If you haven't and you can still come tomorrow, please do come at the door. We're going to be having a mentalist. They call it the Magical Feast of the Senses. It starts at 6:30, and we will have lovely hors d'oeuvres by our brotherhood. We'll have there'll be drinks, the adult kind as well. Desserts, there'll be a wonderful silent auction. I took a glance at some of the things out there today. It's wonderful, as well as a live auction. And our performer is going to be Brett Berry, who's going to perform for us for about an hour. So I really hope that if you haven't signed up already, please do come and join us for this lovely evening. Friday the 23rd of December, we're going to have our Hanukkah and our Shabbat service. We will be starting our evening off at 5:30 with Shabbatizers. We haven't done that in a while, so at 5:30 we'll be meeting for Shabbatizers, getting a chance to see one another, and God bless you. And then at 7 we'll have our Hanukkah service with our community menorah lighting. So please remember, bring your menorahs, and we will light our menorahs together. We are going to sing together. And it's going to be a lovely evening. And we are going to have latkes. God bless. See, she sneezed on the truth. No, that's just sneezed on the truth. But we're going to have songs. We're going to have singing Hanukkah songs led by Iris and Beth. And our Friday Night Live band. Friday Night Live band, please. Our religious school kids are going to participate. And we'll have some other surprises. And we'll conclude, of course, with our festive oneg afterwards. So please, let's try to get together and celebrate our Festival of Lights together on that evening. Something newly added is on Saturday, the 24th at 5:30. We're going to have a Hanukkah celebration at Eagle Lake Park. It's going to be at shelter number 3. And what it reads is it says it's getting to look a lot like Hanukkah. So on Saturday night, the 24th at 5:30, your temple family will be meeting at Eagle Light for a Hanukkah schmooze and song session. So please come join Rabbi and Iris as we light the menorah again, sing our songs, and enjoy some jelly donuts. So looking forward to seeing everybody there for that event as well. It's open to anybody, and bring a friend. Also, just a reminder that on December the 21st, WTBI will be having their Hanukkah party at Denise's, as yearly we do. Thank you, Denise. And all women, any woman is invited. You don't have to be a member of WTBI. We will be having dinner. Everybody is asked to bring something, and then bring a gift that we do a Chinese auction, an exchange. So it's quite fun. And we're asking for, already starting to begin to ask for PB&J donations. We are already talking about Mitzvah Day, and we're going to please ask people to bring peanut butter and jelly again. That's awesome, and we can drop off those here at our temple. And last but not least, a reminder of Noah Aronson's concert. That is going to be, what is it? Sunday. It is Sunday. And there is a number, I'm assuming there still are tickets available. So that will be another fun evening. And I think that's all for this week. That is a lot. It's a cornucopia. That's what Rabbi said. I went into my new job today, and I'm not used to this routine. So I went in, I had a little bit of an attitude. So this morning, when I go on open my new email where I'm working, it opened up, and our spiritual leader there, chaplain, I would say, had an interesting little few words that kind of woke me up. It said, "Sandy, your bad attitude is like a flat tire. You're not going to get moving until you change it." Shabbat shalom.
Yes, bring your own menorah and candles. And we're on a budget, bring matches too. Whatever you can bring, it's fine. But it's going to be great. It should be really nice because I think it's like the 7th night of Hanukkah at that point, 6, 7, whatever it is. And we'll have a lot of candles, what I'm trying to say. So that'll be lovely. One more thing to add to our cornucopia of announcements on January 8th. It's a little bit early, but January 8th we have Tizmoret is coming in. Tizmoret is the a cappella group from Queens College Hillel, and they're doing their touring right now. So they're going to be in Florida during January, and it's exciting. It's actually be hosted at CBS, Beth Shalom, but we're going to be partnering with them for an a cappella concert. It's just one more way to add a little bit of music and festivity, to our community. It's going to be, I think, a really awesome experience. They're not quite the Maccabees, but they're men and women, so I like that part of it, to be honest. And that is going to be at 7 o'clock at Beth Shalom on January 8th. Dinner at 6, a gourmet pizza dinner. As in, I think it's Monty's, so it'll be fine. So it's good. It's fine. But it'll be good. So there's one more thing to add to the list. A lot of fun stuff coming up. It is a busy and wonderful season. So what are we looking at to conclude?
I'm working my way through all of the different tunes for Adon Olam. And so this one is from an oldie but goodie. This is, I don't know how many of you remember the old Coca-Cola commercials. I'd like to teach the world to sing. So we're going to try this. It's on page 625. Is that we
You
look
got
at
it.
that? 625. We're gonna give it a shot. Adon olam asher malach b'terem kol yetzir nivra la'et nasa v'chefso kol azai melech shemo nikra v'yacharei kichlot hakol leva'ado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yeh b'tifareh v'hu echad ve'en sheni לעם שלו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז ואדון עולם, אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. Verse 4, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצור חבלי בעת זרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, ביעדו יפקירוכי, בעת אישן ועירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא אדון עולם. אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא. We have to end with ba 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 ba.
Let's rise together for Motzi.
Oh, we need someone to motzi this.
Kyle, you want to come up here and...
Yeah, come on up.
You just take off the challah cover for us, it'd be great. There you go.
Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as this joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz v'tei avon.
Take a little bite.
It won't be Shabbat till you take a bite.
There we go. Yay, Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you.
Excellent.
Everyone.
And we have our oneg, I believe.
APR.
APR. Against my objections? Okay.
Yes. We're all set up fancy.
I want to be outside.
Oh, it's so chilly. Thank you.
60 degrees.
She's leaving.